From the taverns of ancient Kish to the royal courts of the Nile Valley, this is the story of three extraordinary women, Kubaba, Merneith, and Sobekneferu, who rose to power in a world ruled by men and left their mark on history. Our story begins in Mesopotamia, often called the cradle of civilization, a land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, modern-day Iraq. This was a place where the first cities, writing systems, and organized states emerged. Life revolved around agriculture, trade, temples, and city governance. One of the most important cities in Mesopotamia was Kish. Kish was a major political and religious center in early Sumer. It controlled trade routes and held influence over neighboring cities. According to the Sumerian king list, kingship often passed through Kish, marking it as a symbol of legitimate authority. And it was here, in the heart of this bustling city, that Kubaba lived. Before she became a ruler, Kubaba was a tavern keeper, running a place where travelers, traders, and city officials gathered. Taverns were more than just inns, they were social hubs, making her a well-connected and respected figure. According to the Sumerian king list, Kubaba rose to power and became the ruler of Kish, made firm the foundations of Kish, ruled for a symbolic 100 years. Her rise was extraordinary. In a male-dominated world, a woman who began as a tavern keeper became the only female ruler recorded in one of the oldest historical documents ever created. While we have no records of her family, birth, marriage, or children, her name has survived for over 4,000 years, testimony to her remarkable place in history. Imagine Egypt over 5,000 years ago. The Nile winds its way through deserts and fertile floodplains, carrying life to the first cities and settlements. Palm trees sway along its banks. Farmers work the fields, planting barley and wheat, while craftsmen carve stone and shape pottery. Temples rise slowly from the earth, and priests perform rituals to honor the gods, maintaining Maat, the divine order. In this vibrant yet fragile civilization, royal families wield immense power, and among them was a woman whose influence would shape Egypt's future. Her name was Merneith. Merneith was likely born as a daughter of Pharaoh Jur, the third ruler of Egypt's first dynasty. As a princess of the Nile Valley, she grew up surrounded by the splendor and rituals of early Egyptian royalty. Palaces built from mud brick, adorned with painted walls, courtyards where officials and scribes practiced record-keeping, temples where priests conducted daily offerings to the gods. Her upbringing would have been rigorous. Royal children were trained in administration and governance, preparing her to understand the kingdom's complex irrigation, trade, and taxation systems. Religious rites, teaching her to maintain Maat, the cosmic order. Diplomatic protocol, preparing her to interact with officials and regional leaders. Egypt at this time was still consolidating. Upper and Lower Egypt were unified under a single royal authority, but the system was young and fragile. Leadership required wisdom, diplomacy, and strong familial ties. Merneith's authority extended over the fertile Nile Valley, including Upper Egypt, the southern stretch along the Nile, centered at Abydos, and Lower Egypt, the northern delta region, where Saqqara would later become an important ceremonial site. The king, or in her case, the regent, was responsible for maintaining the flow of the Nile through irrigation and canals, overseeing agriculture and food distribution, organizing trade, collecting taxes, and managing resources, presiding over religious ceremonies to honor the gods and legitimize authority. Merneith rose to prominence as the mother of Den, who would become one of Egypt's most important pharaohs. When Den was too young to rule, she assumed control as regent, wielding the full authority of a pharaoh. Though she may not have been officially crowned as a pharaoh, Archaeological evidence shows she functioned as the kingdom's ruler. Her influence ensured the stability of the first dynasty, protecting her son's future and securing the lineage of Egypt's rulers. Merneith's reign is remembered primarily through archaeology. Royal tombs at Abydos and Saqqara, built in the traditional pharaonic style, reserved for kings. Seals and inscriptions bearing her name, demonstrating control over administration and trade. Recognition as a ruler in early king lists, highlighting her authority during Egypt's formative years. While we do not know about her marriage or other children, her position as mother to Pharaoh Den and her command over the kingdom proves she was a capable and recognized leader. Life in Merneith's Egypt was a delicate balance. The Nile's annual floods sustained life, but also demanded careful planning. Political unity was fragile. Regional governors needed oversight. Religion legitimized kingship, and the pharaoh acted as both ruler and priest. Merneith's regency stabilized this young civilization, ensuring that both Upper and Lower Egypt remained united under the crown of her son. Though the details of her daily life are lost to time, Merneith's name survives in monumental tombs, in inscriptions, in the legacy of her son, Pharaoh Den. She is remembered as one of the first women in history to wield political power, a guardian of Egypt's early statehood, and a symbol of female leadership in one of the world's earliest civilizations. Step forward in time to around 1800 BCE, to the winding banks of the Nile during Egypt's Middle Kingdom. In this thriving kingdom, a woman would rise to the throne, not as a queen consort or regent, but as a fully recognized pharaoh. Her name was Sobekneferu. Sobekneferu was likely the daughter of Amenemhat III, the sixth pharaoh of the 12th dynasty of Egypt, though some scholars suggest she may have been a close royal relative within the dynasty. Growing up in the royal court, Sobekneferu would have been educated in political administration and managing the royal estates, religious rituals and temple ceremonies, military oversight, and diplomacy with regional leaders. Her upbringing prepared her to take on authority in a kingdom where pharaohs were both kings and high priests. Sobekneferu ruled unified Egypt, overseeing both Upper and Lower Egypt. She inherited a stable, centralized state with strong bureaucracy and control over agriculture along the Nile and management of irrigation systems, trade with Nubia and the Eastern Mediterranean, monument building and temple construction. Her reign occurred at the end of the 12th dynasty, a period marked by strong administration, economic prosperity, and cultural development. In Egypt's pharaonic system, she held full royal titles, meaning she ruled as a king in all but name, performing religious rituals and commanding officials across the kingdom. Sobekneferu is one of the earliest women fully confirmed as pharaoh thanks to monuments and inscriptions with her cartouches, inscriptions and king lists documenting her reign, tombs and architectural projects attributed to her, particularly in the Fayum region. She ruled for about 4 years, and her reign marked the transition between the 12th and 13th dynasties, stabilizing the kingdom at a critical moment. Unlike regents or consorts, Sobekneferu exercised direct political and religious authority, leaving a tangible record of her power in Egypt's history. Egypt was prosperous but at a dynastic crossroads, with the 12th dynasty nearing its end. The pharaoh's authority was absolute, encompassing both temporal and religious duties. Administration was sophisticated, with officials managing irrigation, taxation, and regional governance. Sobekneferu's reign ensured continuity, maintaining the prosperity of the Middle Kingdom while preparing the state for the next pharaoh. Sobekneferu remains a pioneer of female rulership, fully attested by monuments and inscriptions. ruled as pharaoh, not merely as regent or consort, preserved in the historical record as a woman who commanded a unified Egypt. Though she ruled only 4 years, Sobekneferu's name stands as a testament to women's ability to wield power in one of history's most advanced early civilizations.